What happens when one of the internet's most famous horror concepts finally becomes a major movie? For years, the Backrooms existed as a strange corner of the internet. It started with a simple image: yellow walls, buzzing fluorescent lights, and endless empty rooms. Somehow, that single image managed to create a feeling of fear that millions of people understood instantly. Then came the theories, then came the lore, then came the videos, and eventually, Kane Pixels transformed the Backrooms into one of the most successful analog horror stories ever created. Now the big question has finally been answered. Can the Backrooms actually work as a full-length movie? After watching the film, my answer is yes. Not only does it work, but in many ways it succeeds far better than I expected. Now, before we begin, this review contains spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, consider this your warning. With that out of the way, let's talk about Backrooms. The first thing that impressed me was how confident the movie feels right from the opening scene. Instead of spending 15 minutes explaining everything, the movie throws viewers directly into the atmosphere. Within minutes, you understand exactly what kind of experience you're about to have. The opening sequence immediately creates tension. The camera work feels uncomfortable, the sound design feels disturbing, and the environment feels completely wrong. There is a constant sense that something is watching from somewhere you cannot see. That feeling never truly disappears throughout the entire movie. One thing that separates Backrooms from many modern horror films is that it understands fear is not always about monsters. Many horror movies today rely heavily on jump scares. Backrooms takes a different approach. It relies on uncertainty. It relies on isolation. It relies on making the audience feel lost. And honestly, that approach works incredibly well. The movie introduces us to Clark, a struggling furniture store owner whose life is slowly falling apart. His business is failing, his marriage has collapsed, his dreams have faded away, and he spends most of his days trying to convince himself that things will eventually improve. Clark is not written as a traditional hero. He's flawed, sometimes selfish, sometimes angry, sometimes frustrating. But that's exactly why he feels believable. He's not some perfect protagonist designed to make the audience cheer. He's a broken person, making mistakes, and that makes his journey far more interesting. Alongside Clark, we meet Mary, a psychiatrist.
The sound design might actually be the movie's strongest feature. Seriously, watch this movie with good speakers or headphones and you'll understand exactly what I mean. The constant humming of fluorescent lights, distant echoes, and unidentifiable noises combine to create an atmosphere of constant discomfort. Even during scenes where nothing is happening, the sound keeps you nervous. You're always waiting for something. And sometimes, the anticipation is more frightening than the payoff itself. As Clark explores deeper into the complex, the movie gradually reveals how dangerous this place truly is. The Backrooms are not simply a maze. They're something alive, something changing, something impossible. The architecture itself seems broken. Rooms connect in ways that should not exist. Hallways lead nowhere. Doors open into completely different realities. Logic stops working. Normal rules stop applying. And that's exactly what makes the Backrooms terrifying. One thing I loved was how the movie embraced the weirdness of its source material. Many Hollywood adaptations try to make unusual concepts more mainstream. Backrooms refuses to do that. It stays strange. It stays uncomfortable. And it never apologizes for it. The creature designs are another highlight. Rather than creating generic monsters, the film introduces entities that feel genuinely unnatural. Some appear almost human. Others look like distorted copies of people. Many of them move in ways that instantly trigger discomfort. There's something deeply unsettling about seeing something that looks almost human but isn't quite right. The movie uses that idea brilliantly. As the story progresses, Clark becomes increasingly disconnected from reality. His obsession grows stronger, his behavior becomes more unpredictable, and the audience begins questioning whether he can even be trusted anymore. This transformation is handled extremely well. It never feels rushed. Instead, it feels like the Backrooms are slowly changing him from the inside. One aspect that surprised me was how emotional parts of the story became. I expected horror, I expected suspense, but I didn't expect certain character moments to hit as hard as they did. The film constantly explores themes of loneliness, failure, regret, and identity. At its core, the movie isn't just about surviving a supernatural location. It's about people trying to escape themselves, and in many cases, failing.
Overall, Backrooms delivers a unique horror experience that feels different from almost everything else currently in theaters. The visuals are excellent. The atmosphere is unforgettable. The performances are strong. The sound design is phenomenal. And the commitment to weird, unsettling horror is admirable. If you're a longtime Backrooms fan, there's a lot to appreciate. If you're new to the concept, this movie offers a fascinating introduction to one of the internet's most iconic horror creations. For me, Backrooms is easily one of the most memorable horror movies of the year. Final rating? 8 out of 10. I can't wait to see what comes next.